And I want to wish you all a good morning. Give me a thumbs up if you all can hear me. Very good. And welcome to today's webinar, Customizing Your Division Website. My name is Sue Breyer, and I'm a member of Division 33 in the Hemet-San Jacinto Valley in Southern California. I'm also a state CTC vice chair and a CTC specialist. And I would like to have my colleague and my co-presenter introduce herself, and then we're going to get going.
Hi, I'm Marilyn Smith, co-web manager for Division 43 out in the desert, as well as serving with the Communications and Tech Committee in things like this, specialist.
Thanks, Marilyn. Okay, a couple housekeeping notes before we get going. As always, we appreciate it if you would keep your microphones muted through the entire presentation. If you have questions as we go, we aren't planning to stop this presentation to respond to questions. Please use the chat feature on the toolbar on your computer, laptop, or your iPad or your phone. Use the chat feature and go ahead and type questions or comments that you have, and we are going to address those at the end. This is a very content-heavy webinar, so we have a lot of material to cover. Just want to give you a heads up too that you should have had 3 handouts as part of your the email that I sent out, one of which is you'll see large squares of the PowerPoint slides. That'll be easier for you to read. You also have a note-taking sheet, and then you'll have a how-to sheet that will cover some of the technicalities and the step-by-step processes of some of the material that we are going to cover today. So this webinar is designed basically for web managers, those who care for and update and maintain your division website. It's kind of a carryover from our previous one that Marilyn and I had, the Discovering Your Division Website. So we're just taking it an extra step, and we're going to provide some of the tools for you to update and keep your division website updated. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and move ahead. So the first few slides that I'm going to show you are basically an overview, kind of a general overview of what the division websites look like. For those of you who did not go to that first webinar that we held, maybe you haven't been to your division website for a while. So we're just going to take you through it very, very quickly and point out a few things that may be of interest to you. So the first thing, when you open your division website, or actually any division website in CalRTA, this is going to look very similar, this top bar that you see. Obviously, you're going to have the name of your division website. In this case, this is Tulare County, the division number, Division 40. This is all going to look very similar. You're going to have the CalRTA logo on the left-hand corner, and you're going to have the area logo. In this case, it is Area 6. The area that Tulare County Division 40 belongs to. A couple things I want to point out here that you might not be aware of is this CalRTA logo over here on the left-hand side is actually an active link. If you are on your division webpage and you would like to get to the CalRTA homepage, all you have to do is click on that logo, and that's going to take you directly there. So that's very convenient. Over here on the right with this area logo, this is also an active link. Many people don't know that we actually have area web pages. And so if I were to click on Area 6, this logo over here, it's going to take me to the Area 6 web page. And on that web page, I'm going to see whatever divisions belong to that area, and I could click on those and actually go to those division websites if I'd like to. So you might want to try that out when you have an opportunity. These 3 links, these 3 icons that are under the area logo are also active. They're going to take you to the CalRTA Facebook page, the CalRTA YouTube list of YouTube videos, and this is the Flickr icon, which is a series of photos that have been uploaded onto Flickr for CalRTA, and they're photos of, you know, past conventions and other, you know, maybe Advocacy Day and things like that. So this is going to look very similar on all of your web pages. Now, underneath that white bar up at the top is the blue bar, the blue navigation bar, and there are a series of active, what we're going to term tabs up here that you can access. The home obviously just takes you to your home division web page. You have the About Us, which if you click, tells you about CalRTA. That is standard on all the websites. So not everything is editable, okay? So the home page really can't be edited as the way it looks. So you can't customize the look of your page necessarily. And you cannot customize the About Us. These that are in the red box are customizable. You can edit these in one way, shape, or form. The reason I have resources circled here is this is one of the tabs that I really want you to take note of. This is a critical tab for your division web managers when you want to edit content, okay? So kind of make a mental note of that. The resources is your go-to place on this blue bar. You can edit scholarships and grants. In other words, you can upload PDFs with photos on them. You can upload links, okay? You can upload photos. You can't upload an actual photo, JPEG photo or PNG photo, but you can copy photos onto a document and turn it into a PDF, and you can upload those. You can do add updates, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Notice that the Join Us is not editable. That simply takes you to an application form to either join or renew a membership. And then the Contact Us over here is kind of semi-editable, but you need help in order to change anything in that content. So look at those in the middle. Those are the ones that you will probably change or go in and edit or customize the most. Now, just below that blue, well, let's talk about the contact button here on that blue bar. So I said that it is semi-editable. So when people click on this contact button, they're taken to a form that they need to fill out, and they'll use that contact button if they need to ask a question directed to somebody in the division, perhaps a division president, vice president, maybe a publicity person or whoever. So they would click on that contact button and they'd fill out a very brief form with their information. And that goes to emails that are on file in the system here. So that is what can be edited, but you can't go in and change that on your own. So also something I want to point out here with this contact, many of the divisions have, when they submitted the email addresses to be used for the contacts, they submitted personal email addresses like your home email. We strongly urge you to go in and make a change on that. And we suggest if you have a CalRTA division email account, that you make that the contact email for your division rather than a personal email. I've got a sample down here. It might be CalRTA division 99@gmail.com. So you can create those customized kind of generic or division emails to use in this contact here. It's just kind of a security and a privacy issue. There are a couple ways that you can change that. You can either submit your request to questionsforcalrta@gmail.com. You're going to see this a lot today. Contact Ron Scott. He's our IT guy. Or we're going to show you another button that's on this page that you can click, and you can ask to have that change made as well. Okay, so that's the contact button, and you're going to want to double check to see what emails are in there. So again, so below that blue bar, you're going to see this information here. Many of you are interested in your photo carousel and how to edit that. So I have surrounded in red here items that can be edited, but you have to go through our IT guy, Ron Scott, in order to get that edited. And I'm going to show you how to get that done. So here's your photo carousel. You can edit, you can submit photos. They need to fit a specific format. They should be horizontal in their layout, and it should be about 4 inches by 3 inches. Okay, that's the format that they put it. They don't put those profile vertical formats on the carousel here. If you want to submit photos or change the information in this introductory paragraph about your division, maybe some things have changed, maybe you want to add a link, maybe you're mentioning people in here that are no longer with your division, whatever, this is your introductory paragraph. Again, you have to ask Ron Scott, our IT guy, to change that for you. You may need to change your leaders list after an election. So again, that you can't go in and just change those names on your own. That's why these are in red. So if you do need to change these 3 areas, so you want to add photos, you want to change your material in this introductory paragraph, or you want to change the names or positions of your leaders, you can go over here where this red arrow is. This is going to be a lifesaver for a lot of our division web managers. You click on this DWM Communication Form, and I'm going to show you a picture of that in a future slide with more detail. But you can ask for these changes to be made. Okay, so this is going to be a nice place for you to go and make changes very easily. The other way, of course, is to go to questionsforcalrta@gmail.com, and you can have those requests there as well. Now, I did put a green box here around coming events and newsletters, because you can go in and you can change those. Some of these are added by CalRTA. Others are, maybe your board meetings or your luncheon meetings or other division activities. You can add those in, and we're going to cover how to do that in those future slides that we're going to get to. Of course, you can upload your newsletters as PDF documents over here, and they keep about 2 years worth of newsletters listed in here, so that's kind of nice. Down here, if you need a little help with uploading your photos to this carousel, when you log into your division web page, click on that resources button that I just pointed out to you in the previous slide. And from resources, then you're going to click on a big blue button that says CalRTA Division Area Support Training, right down here at the bottom in red. And then you can look at the frequently asked questions, and question number 4 deals with how to get these photos into the proper format. So this is editable content. The red, you can go through the Division Web Manager's communication form. The green, you can basically do on your own. So another button that is on every web page is the Join Us. This is not an editable button. This tab cannot be edited. Basically, it's going to take people, when they click on it, and it's actually in 2 places here. It's going to take people to this form right here that allows them to either renew a current membership if they're already a member of CalRTA, or apply online where they would fill out this form, or click on apply by mail. They can download that form into a hard copy, fill it out, attach a check, and put it in an envelope and send it off in the mail. So this is the same on all websites. You can't change that. You can't change any of the content here, okay? So I mentioned that DWM Communication Form just a little bit ago. This is a new button that was added on fairly recently, just within the last few months. And it has already been a godsend for a lot of division web managers, because it just makes things so easy to get done. When you click on this DWM Communication Form, it's right underneath the newsletters and right above the legislative advocacy button. So you're going to be taken to this big form right here. Some of the information up at the top simply tells you what this form is not for. Okay, so if you have general questions about CalRTA, you want to know about the WEP, GPO, you want to know about membership meetings, MRRC, that is not what this form is for. So if you have those kinds of questions, then you're going to click this gold button that says Contact CalRTA Staff, and you're going to be taken to a contact form that you can fill out and ask a question. However, if you have questions or want to make changes to your division website that require assistance from our IT guy, you're going to look at everything that's below that blue bar there. This is for you down at the bottom. Notice it says Welcome Division Web Manager. So if you have questions about updating your leader list, or there's a tool that we're going to talk about later for events, adding a recurring event. You actually have to have that activated. You can use this form to do that. If you simply have a question to ask about something to do with the division website and changing it, if you have a question that needs to be answered, then you can ask that question. And so you'll see the red box here has a series of little circles that you can check off. Note too that when you fill out this form, you need your first name, your first and last name, your email, etc. But you also have to add your membership number in here. So we're just not having anybody opening this form, especially a non-member. Over here, you can click on any of these gold buttons, View Sample Page. This kind of shows you what a leader list on your homepage looks like, what it's referring to. So you can click on that if you need some clarification on what some of these things are. So this again is a valuable tool for you to use in making some of those changes that you cannot do on your own, that you have to have our IT department help you with. Okay, so that's our DWM Communication Form. Now, right below that is the legislative advocacy button. Portions of this can be changed, or you can actually add to this. Let me say that you can add to it, not necessarily change it. So the legislative advocacy button, the first link here, and these are active, advocacy action. This is going to take you to the state advocacy action page. On that page are a number of goodies, including the Advocacy Action Toolbar, which is amazing if you're looking for lots of information and resources about advocacy action. That toolbar is fairly new, came up recently, just a couple months ago, so you're going to want to go in and check that out, but you can access that from your division webpage. This current legislative plan is basically the legislative platform for CalRTA. If you want to see the current updated version of that legislative platform, then you're going to want to click there. If you click on View More, you are going to be taken to this page. This is where you can actually add some of your own information. All of the bulleted items, so when you click View More, it opens this page. You're going to see a series of bulleted items. These are all resources that have been uploaded by CalRTA. Those are standard on all of your division websites. Now, if you want to add anything regarding legislation that is maybe pertinent to your local division, your local area, you can add those, and they're going to go above those bulleted items. Okay, so that's how you can tell what you have added and what CalRTA has added. So you can add those links in there, and in that sense, you are customizing then your legislative advocacy page. Okay, I'm going to turn this next section over to Marilyn.
Okay, when you go into your website and you click on resources, you're going to see, as Sue has already said, you're going to see a long, big blue button that says CalRTA Division Area Support and Training. I just normally refer to this as the support and training, or simply this training page. When you click on that, this page on the right of this slide, this is the page that shows up. I highly recommend that you bookmark this web page, and then whenever you're working on any section of your division website's dashboard, have this page open as well. So they're side by side, and you can do it in tabs, or you can do it in two windows. Depends on how you set up your screen, the way when you work on things.
Sorry.
Having both of them open is just amazing, because if you run into something you think, but I thought that's what she said, then you go back to the training page and you'll get specifics. When you scroll down a little bit, you can pay special attention to the frequently asked questions. Those are updated periodically and are very, very clear and really good. And they address things other than updating websites. For example, number 4 does deal with the websites, because number 4 tells you what you need to do if you want to change the photos in your photo carousel. But now I'm gonna, 15, I think it is. If you want to add a PayPal account to your website, then you go read 15 and follow directions. So they're all different. Some of them address the websites, some of them don't. But it's really a neat collection. You'll see that the on the left there in bold are the categories that you're going to get instructions for. And then there are 3 columns. The detailed columns, or the instructions in the detailed set parts, are step-by-step, very clear directions with graphics. So if you're a visual learner and you want both, you want to see and you want to read, this is perfect. This is what I would suggest you use if you have never, for example, dealt with the resources section. And you go into the detailed part of the resources section and you will get all the help you need. And you can, if you have this open side by side, then you can go through the directions as you go through the steps in your website. The concise directions are basically the word parts of the detailed. That is, they're like the detailed but without the graphics. And the video is exactly that, video. So if you're more of an auditory learner, then the video would be great. And if you're going to watch the video before you tackle any of these areas, then my suggestion is that you go into concise and print it out first and then watch the video. Okay, next. When you log into your dashboard, use the web address that is on this screen right here. You'll go to div and then your division number, .calrta.org/wp-admin. That gets you to your own dashboard. And then you log in as you do on the calrta.org website. You need to remember your exact membership number or have it written down somewhere, and use your last name, and it has to be all in lowercase, no capitals, the way we're used to. And if you think you can't log in, double check these 2 things before panicking. Also, you can click the Remember Me square there if you want to. You don't have to, but if you want to, you can. And I would suggest only doing that if you're the only one who uses your computer. If somebody else uses your computer, it's probably a good idea to leave that one unchecked. Let's see, yeah, this, right. The column on the left of the graphic part of this slide shows what the dashboard, the column and the part in white, shows what your dashboard should look like as soon as you've logged in. sometimes there are little messages at the top, and you can see a couple of them up there. Something about, do you like this site, or are you having fun yet? Something. You can ignore those because we don't deal with those. That's all WordPress stuff, and we're just using their programs. Right now, there's a large orange message there, and we'll discuss that when we're finished with the whole presentation. If you, let's see, where is it? Oh, the link where it says click here for access to. If you click on that, it'll take you to the support and training page. And from there, you can get to the playground if you want. The playground is like a pseudo website with its dashboard, and you can play around, you can try things out, you can make mistakes and then delete them, or not delete them, and you can send a message to our IT guy and ask him to undelete or to delete them. My suggestion is, if you use the click here for access link, hover over it with your cursor and right click so that you open it in a separate tab or a separate web page. If you already have the support and training web page open next to your dashboard, then you don't need this because it'll just take you to the same place. If you do click there, the dashboard will disappear, and it will take you to the support and training web page, and then you will need to use your computer's back button to get back to the dashboard. It'll remember you though, because you already logged in. Okay, next. On the left of your dashboard, in the black column, are the different categories and some additional menus in which you can make additions, changes, corrections, deletions, whatever it is you need to do. It's from media down is the part of the dashboard that you'll work with the most. Hover your cursor over media and a sub menu shows up. The library is where all the items that you've uploaded, mostly PDFs, are stored. And you can see your library either in list view, as you see on this slide, and the list view has a lot of detail about each of the items that you uploaded, when you uploaded it, who uploaded it, etc. Next. Here, your media library is shown in gallery format, and it shows you everything that's that you've uploaded, but in simpler form. If you want the details, you need to go back to the list view. You can see some graphics here, some JPEGs here. Those can be used only in the description part of any coming event. For example, in this one, there's the photograph of the meeting place. So when Sue makes a new event, she can add that picture in the description part of that event if she wants to make sure everybody knows what building they're going to go to. Okay, 13. Let's see. When you're still in media and you want to add something new to your library, then you click on Add New, and in the large box that shows up, you can either drag and drop a file or two files or however many you want to upload, drag and drop them from your computer to this box and they will be uploaded, or you can use select files and go into your wherever you store files on your computer to choose the ones you want and then click open. On Windows 10 you'll probably be going into the File Explorer, if that's what it's called. If you use anything before Windows 10, it was called Windows Explorer. That's the big, it looks like a big filing cabinet. You just can make categories and you can store all kinds of stuff in there. On Macs, this is called Finder. That's where all this stuff is stored on your computer that you can upload here. If you click down below, once you uploaded something, you should see this small rectangle show up, and this shows that division guidelines had just been uploaded. And if now you need to tell the program where you want this to appear. So you click on Edit, and then you'll get another screen that will show you different categories. Okay. Next. Sorry, I should have said next. Another way to get into that is to go back to the library and then click on it to open it up. Either way will work. Once you have this open, then look to the right and you'll find several choices over there. First, you want to give it a title that means something to your members. It may or may not be the same as the file name that you uploaded. It probably shouldn't, actually. Then in the list with the boxes, uncheck Uncategorized, and then check the name of the category where you want this file to show up. Get rid of Uncategorized and indicate where you do want it. Then go to the top right of the screen and click on an X. There's an X way up there. It seems counterintuitive, but it works. Once you click on that X, you'll be sent back to your library. Hover your cursor over the black bar across the top of your screen and click on Visit Site. Now you can double check that the file is in the correct place with the title that you gave it. Another way you can do that without leaving the dashboard is to have a third tab or window open at the same time and just make that your division website, the actual website. And then all you have to do after you've categorized something like this is go back to your website, hit refresh, and then check to see that it's where you wanted it to be. If there are items in your library that are not needed anymore, you can delete them. You would open such an item just the way you just did to categorize something, but you would open such an item from your library, look to the very bottom, or no, not the bottom, look to the right and find the words delete permanently. And you'd click on that, and then on the confirming button at the top, because it'll tell you you can't undo this, and it will be gone. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to pick it up from here. And so we just covered the media, how to upload your media to your division website. So I'm going to take you into events, which is the next item on that black toolbar menu. And we have it over here on the right. Normally it's on the left-hand side. So just so you know. So when you hover your cursor over the word event or events, another sub menu is going to pop up with 4 items in it: events, add event, locations, and recurring events. So this sub menu, and I'm going to take you through each of these 4 items here and how you can work with each of these to customize your website. So if you were to click on events, and I'm going to show you in a minute, but you're simply going to get a list of all the events that you have already put into your division website, into the system. If you want to add a new event, you would click on Add Event. If you need to add a location, so say you have a location for your board meeting in one place, and you have a location for your luncheon in another place, and then you have a location for an event that's coming up, you can add those in, and they are stored in the system there. So once you add an event in there, you don't have to add it again. It's already in there for you to access. And this new one here, this recurring events, is kind of a cool new tool that I'm going to talk about. But if you have a recurring event, like recurring board meetings, they're on the same day of the month, second Tuesday of every other month, you know, for such and such a month, you can add a recurring event, and you don't have to go in and put them in individually each time. So the first item in that black tool, that black mini menu that shows up, is events. And as I said, if you were to click on that, it's simply going to give you a list of all of the events that you have already put into the system. And this is what you are going to see when you click on events. So you're going to have a list with, these are active links that you can actually click on to open the event and take a look at it if you want. So for instance, this particular events page shows webinars, maintaining your division Facebook page, or customizing your division's website. So you can add links here to, and you can create an event for something that's happening in CalRTA and you want to advertise it on your division website and customize it that way. When you hover over these blue links, anything that's in blue is an active link. You're going to get this little mini menu that pops up. Notice that you don't see them under these here. So you have to hover over this with your cursor, and this little menu here is going to pop up. It's kind of nice. It just makes it very easy. So if I need to edit this title, I hover over this, the title of the event, and I could just click on edit, or actually edit allows me to edit all of the information in there. If I just want to do a quick edit and maybe change the title, I can click on quick edit. If I'm done with this event or I've canceled it or whatever, I can trash it. I can just click trash and it'll delete it. I can click view and it'll open up a separate page and it'll give me all the details that I have put in about that particular event. It'll show a picture. It might show a link if I have a registration link in there or something. So you can click view and kind of preview what it looks like before, and then you could actually go in and edit it if you want to make changes. If you want to duplicate this event for some reason, you can click duplicate and it will do that. You have to publish it before it actually goes into the permanent list that shows up on the division website. So the list of events, you're going to have the title, the location of the event. So if you see none, that means there's no physical location, obviously for a webinar. But down here, you're going to see the name and the address of the location. So these locations have been added in. Here is the date and the time for the event and whoever uploaded it to the system. And that was me. So this is my site. Up at the top from this events tab, you can actually add an event. You can click here if you'd like, and you can add a new event. Up here at the top too, under the word events, you're going to see, maybe 2 or 3 items, sometimes even 4 listed here, it depends. What I'd like you to take note of though, is if you create an event and you save it as a draft, because say you're running out of time, you're working on an event, you have to leave, you want to come back to it, you can save it as a draft, but this is where you can access it. This is where you find it. You go into your events page and there it is, drafts. So I have 5 drafts that I can go in and actually work on and publish eventually if I'd like. So if I want to delete a whole bunch of these, I can go into bulk actions. So maybe I've got events that are still there that I need to just get rid of and I need to move them to the trash. You just go into the events page, you click on any of these boxes next to the item you wish to delete. You go up to bulk actions and then you click move to trash. Don't just leave them in the trash, okay? You have to go in and empty the trash periodically. So up here, you can sometimes see deleted events and you can go in and delete them all out of the trash. So in that small pop-out menu that I showed you, events was the first item. The second item is add event, add event. So that's the second item. So this is going to be kind of your go-to page for many of you. So I'm going to take a little time to go through this because I want to make sure that you understand exactly how this works. So when you go into add a new event, obviously you're going to give it a title up here at the top. So in this case, I just have November board meeting. Don't make it super long. You don't need to say Division 33, San Jacinto Mountain Division, November board meeting. You don't need to make it huge. Keep it fairly short. Over here, you're going to add the day, the date. If it's all on one day, which they usually are, November 10th to November 10th, you're going to add your time in. So when you click on the date, by the way, it opens up a calendar and you can click on the date. Event starts, so put your times in. This too, if you click on the box, it's going to open up times and you just click on the time. Be mindful, of course, of AM and PM. And I would never click all day. If you click something and you're saying an event is all day, that means it's going to show up as starting at midnight and going, starting at 12 a.m. and going to 12 p.m. or later, 11:59. So that's an all day event. So you're probably going to stay away from the all day. Don't even touch the time zone. That's already preset for you. So I actually should have put a red X through here. You don't want to touch the time zone. It's already preset and you don't need to do anything with that. Over here in the middle, you're going to see this big white box, which is normally blank. And this is where you're going to add the information about your event. You can use this toolbar up here. So you have a couple choices. You can use these up here, the little white strip, or you can use the little icons down here. So if I wanted to insert a link, I could click insert with this little down arrow and click insert link, or I could go right over here to the little link icon and I could do it that way. So you have a couple ways of doing that. You can just type in some text if you'd like. You just click on the white box and start typing. Meet and greet begins at 10:30, etc. Add a photo in here. I'm going to go to add media to add a photo. Okay, add media. If I already have, like Marilyn mentioned earlier, I already have my photo uploaded to my library, my media library. I can just go into my media library and click on it and it's automatically going to go right into my box here. If I need to upload a different photo, you have to go into your computer. Of course, you can click on upload files, go into your computer and find a photo that you want to use. Okay, it doesn't have to be your venue. It could be any photo that you like. You have to upload it first to your media library before you can add it in here. I can add a link down here. This happens to be to a Google form for an RSVP option. So you can type in the link. I would have to insert the link by clicking on insert or going to this little link icon and it would go down here. Please note, in this day and age of Zoom meetings with links, do not ever post a Zoom invitation link on a new event or anywhere on your division website. Remember, your division website is a public website. The public can access it. So if you post a Zoom invitation link, that's going to create some problems. That means anybody out there in the world that wants to come to your website can click on it. That's how you get Zoom bombing. So no Zoom links. Okay, this is to a Google form for people to register for a Zoom meeting. Down here at the bottom is you indicate where your event is. You basically have two choices, no location or physical location. And in this case, this is a physical location. So I would click that down arrow and click physical location. What shows up is a new menu. I'm going to show you that on the next slide. So just hang tight on that. Once this is where you want it to be, it says everything that you want it to say. Then you're going to go over here and you're going to publish it. Remember I said if you want to save it as a draft, you can click Save Draft. Then you go back to that events page, and up at the top, you can click on Draft and access it again. You can even preview it. You can click Preview. It opens up what that event page is going to look like, and you can double check, make sure it looks the way you want it to look. And if it's good to go, then you're going to want to publish it down here in that blue button that says Publish. So that is your adding event. This is one of those pages you're going to use a lot. So I talked about locations on that previous screen. Remember, there's a drop-down box, no location or physical location. So here is that box. So if I were to click on physical location, this box is going to open up. If you have like a Zoom event or some kind of virtual event, you don't have to worry about any of this because there's no location involved. But if you have a physical location for an event that you are scheduling, you need to complete this box, but there are only certain parts that you have to complete. Those have those little stars by it right here. This box, this one, down here, this is already preset for you. So you're going to put the name of the location. And this, of course, is if you're adding a new location. If you've already added a location, it's going to be in your media library under locations. So you have the name of your location, put that in. So say it's the Redlands Elks Club. That's where we're going to have a meeting. I'm going to put the physical address and the city. I skip down here. I don't have to put any of this other stuff in. United States is already preset for you. If you go to, say I need to go to the Redlands Elks Club, their website, I can click on the URL, their website address, and I can paste it down here. And that way, when I publish the location, it'll typically show a map on how to get there or directions on how to get there. All my locations are listed right here on the right. Their name, address, the town, the state, the country. So they're all listed here. These have all been entered. If I want to use a location to add a new event and say it's at the HTA office, if I start typing HTA is going to open up, and I can click on that and add it in without having to type in all the info. Now the recurring events, this is a new item that I told you about. This, however, you have to request to be activated on your division website. So this has to be activated by our IT guy, Ron Scott. So that's where you're going to hit that DWM button on your division website. Click on the DWM, and one of those little circles that you can ask about is to request to have this tool activated. So just so you know, you can't do this until you get it activated. So a recurring event, take a look at this. This looks kind of like adding a new event page. You have your title here, and you've got your big white box in the middle where you can add a photo, you can add whatever you want. Notice this meeting. Now I'm going to zoom in so you can see this a little bit better. Okay, here's some information. Meetings will be held the second Tuesday of every other month, beginning in September and continuing until May 2021. So that's going to be my recurring event. They're every other month, second Tuesday, starting in September, ending in May. So when you open up the recurring events, you're going to see this box over here. Okay, you're going to see this box, not this big one with the red. You're going to see some things that you need to fill in, your start time and your end time. Notice that they're already at defaults here. If I click on this, I can change the time, and it's going to look like this over here, 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Okay, time zone, don't mess with it. Don't touch that one. This event repeats. Okay, see this little sentence here? As you change these boxes, the text changes. This sentence changes. It's really interesting to see how it works. So notice the first item says daily. Well, my meeting is going to be every other month. So I'm going to click this down arrow. My choices are daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly. So over here, I have selected monthly because mine's going to be every other month. And it's every other month, so I put the number 2 in here. So now this word says months here. Okay, so this sentence is going to be created as you add information to each of these boxes. Remember, it's the second Tuesday. So I have a down arrow. I can choose first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. So I'm going to check second. Now I down arrow for the day of the month. Okay, now I can read this sentence. If this sentence says what you want it to say, this event repeats monthly, every 2 months or every other month on the second Tuesday of each month. If it says what you want it to say, you're good to go. Now, remember, I said it was from September to May. So I'm going to go in here. This will have a drop-down calendar. I'm going to click the second Tuesday of September. That's the first meeting. And I'm going to go till May 11th, which is the second Tuesday in May. But notice you have to change the year before it'll allow you to put the month in. So this is a drop-down calendar, and you can click on that. The each event spans, keep that as 0 unless you're holding a 24-hour event, which I doubt you're going to be holding. So keep it at 0. Keep it at 0. That means it's all on one day. Okay? So this is the recurring events. It's, once you get the hang of this, it's pretty easy to do. Once you publish it, go and open your division website under coming events, double check it. You might have to click see more, and you should be able to see it and just double click or double check to make sure that it says what you want it to say. Because I need you guys to mute yourselves, please. Thanks.
Please enter the card number as it appears on your card, followed by the pound key.
Marilyn, this is yours.
Okay. Again, in the black column at the left of your screen, there are the 5 categories to which you can add web addresses or URLs.
Security code as it appears on your card.
Go ahead.
Please enter the last 4 digits of the primary cardholder's social security number.
Okay, Marilyn, you were temporarily muted. Can you try again?
Sure.
For confirmation, please re-enter the 4-digit PIN.
I don't know why we are getting...
I don't either. I thought everybody else was muted. The URL is simply, I don't even remember what it all stands for, but all a URL is the web address that appears at the top of any screen when you go into a website. The URL for our state website is https://calrta.org, and that's it. It's very short. Some of them are very long, especially when you get into newspaper websites. But the black columns where Sue has put the red mark, those 5 columns are places where you can add URLs. And once you add them, obviously, then your members will be able to go directly to any linked web pages that you and your board decide are valuable. One thing to keep in mind when you add these is that they will appear on that part of your website, either in the resources section or the updates or whatever section you're talking about. They will appear in that part of your website in the reverse order in which you added them. This matters only if there's a particular order you want to keep, such as adding links in resources and then adding a PDF of your division bylaws. If you want the bylaws to be at the top, then that needs to be added last. You add all the other links first and then add the bylaws in last. Another thing about having links in the various categories in your website is that you need to check them frequently and either fix them or remove them. Newspapers are notorious. If you put a newspaper link in, say for when the newspaper had a nice story on your scholarship recipients, that thing is going to disappear in about a month or two, if you're lucky to. And so you need to check those and either find the new web page if the website simply reorganized itself, find the new page that takes you to the same place, or simply delete it. There's nothing more frustrating for a member to do than to go into a website and not have a link work. On the training page, under resources, in the detailed section, it gives you specific directions for deleting them. They're not difficult to delete. Next. On your computer, go to the website you want to link. And that's what is at the top here, flickr.com/photos, etc. That's a URL up there. Copy the URL, that is, copy the web address that's at the top of that screen, then return to your dashboard and paste the URL into the long skinny box where it says link address, and make sure you're in the category you want. You don't want to put a resources link like to Riverside County Office on Aging into the photos page. That's not going to make any sense. So make sure you're in the right category and then paste the link where it says link address, and then give it a description, something that will, it's fairly short. You don't want those suckers to be really, really long. Fairly short, concise, and that is clear about where that link is going to take people. Then you just click update over at the side and it's up. And of course, you want to check these. Every time you do something, you should go into your own website and hit refresh and then check to make sure. In photos, you may be wondering what kinds of photos, what kinds of URLs you could add to your photos page. And really the only thing I can think of, I'm sure there are other things that more creative people can think of, is if somebody took a video of an activity you had, like maybe the runners coming in from a cancer walk or something, that video can be uploaded to YouTube or Vimeo or one of those kinds of websites. And once it's ready, they tell you when it's ready, when they've uploaded the whole thing and it's ready to view. Then you will get a link. And you can put those links in the photos section and they will, people, when they click on it, they'll be able to watch the movie. That's the only one I've run into so far. Everything else under photos gets to be on a PDF. And here again, if the link is broken for whatever reason, you either need to find the new one if it just simply got changed, or you need to delete it. And this slide shows you where these items are. You go in and find the link that you're looking for, the one that doesn't work anymore. And if all you're going to do is delete it, then just click the delete link down there and then update. If you're going to replace it and you're going to keep the name of it the same, then you get the new URL from that particular website, copy it, and then paste the new one in here, and again, click update. So you can do one or the other, either fix it or delete it. Okay, next. Remember that the support and training site on your division website is your very, very best friend. Keeping it open in the tab or window right next to your dashboard as you work is a really, really good idea. It's frankly the best help you can find. And you can also email us if you need to. The email address is right there at the bottom, and it's on this slide too.
Sorry.
That's okay. The email address, we put this everywhere. It goes everywhere because we want people to make use of that and send your questions to us. Sue and I are some of the people who check that and answer questions if we can. Questions for calrta@gmail.com. It can't be simpler. Thanks for coming.
Okay. Well, that was pretty content heavy, I think. There was a lot, we know that there's a lot to cover. And we also knew that it would be difficult to kind of chop this up or divide it up, you know, into two parts. It's kind of difficult to do that. But we are here to answer your questions. I'm going to go to the chat bar right now. And Marilyn and I will hang around for a little bit at the end. And if you want us to take you live to a division webpage and to the dashboard, if you want to stick around for a few minutes and see that, you're welcome to. You don't have to though, because I know that our hour is up. We're actually a couple minutes over, 2 minutes over. But let me go through a couple of the questions here. Somebody says, how many photos are allowed in the photo carousel? Marilyn, you want to address that?
I don't know that there's a hard and fast number, but I think it's around maybe 8 or 10, 12, somewhere in there.
If you try to get those uploaded, I'm sure Ron Scott will say you've hit your limit. Maybe you need to delete some old pictures that you have in there, and then he'll add new ones in.
Right.
Another question is, can anyone click on DWM, that DWM button? And if so, how does it protect anyone from making changes?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Because if the person doesn't have that website's webmaster's correct member number, name and member number, it's not going to go anywhere. Or even if Ron gets it, he's just going to delete it. So it's only the web managers for that particular website. And that person has to enter the web or the member number every single time. That's what keeps it from being a nightmare.
Okay, another question is, how do you publicize a Zoom link or Zoom link information for members who do not have email addresses if you don't put it on a website? You'd have to send it in a printed publication to them. You don't want to publicize a Zoom link on social media. You don't want to put it on Facebook, on Twitter, oh my gosh, if you put it on Twitter, I can't imagine. But Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, do not post any of those Zoom links there. Don't post them on your division website either. If somebody does not have email, giving them a Zoom link, you'd probably have to send it to them in a publication, because I don't know how else you can get it to them without email.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is if somebody doesn't want to receive anything in email, but they have a smartphone.
But you still have to send it to them, and they'd have to open it up in an email.
Yeah.
Let's see. If we want to add photos to the carousel, can we submit it with the correct dimensions, 4 wide by 3 height, and let Ron set the exact size? Just thinking about saving time.
Oh, that's what we're flat in the middle of doing right now in our division. He will let you know if it doesn't fit, I tell you.
And he has said before that if it's pretty close to 4 by 3, if it's pretty close, he can make it work. But if it's way off, he'll probably ask you to go in and try to resize it somehow on your own.
Yeah.
So it says in your newsletter, have an email address for members to get contact. Oh, okay, that was the response. I'm sorry. Let's see. Do all recurring events show up or just the next one? No, all of the recurring events will be listed there under your coming events. So when you click coming events and you click see more, you're going to see all of them, because I added the recurring events for our board meetings. And I went in there and checked, and there they all were. Because that month, the span where I said from September to May. So if you put that span in, yes, all of them are going to be listed. Any of those recurring meetings from September to May, they'll all be listed. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Let's see. Oh, somebody told us that URL stands for Uniform Resource Locator. I will never remember that, but that's okay. Thank you. Let's see. Can we see a video of the first easier presentation? Yeah, there are some glitches right now with the virtual events page on the CalRTA website, which is where that video ought to be housed. I do have the link to that video. If you want to email, you could just send it to questions@calrta.com and say, can I have the link to the first video? I'll make sure you get it. Okay, so questions@calrta.com, and you can request that. Could you text a link to a meeting? Oh, for Zoom?
Zoom, probably, yeah.
I would think that that's fairly safe, texting. It's like sending it in an email, I suppose.
Sending it to a person, yeah.
Okay. Do any of you want us to go live and go right on to a division website and show you the dashboard or anything? Raise your hand if you're interested in seeing that. If you don't want to hang around for that, that's okay. You can go ahead and click that leave button if you want to stay. We're going to take you live right now, okay? But thank you all. And those of you who want to, I'm going to go ahead and I think, let me go back to participants here, and I'm going to unmute, because I think, Irene, I think you had a question or a comment?
I do. I want to thank you, Sue, and Marilyn for such a laborious challenge. It has been awesome. And for the attendees, I also wanted to let them know where that valuable web page that Marilyn displayed is right now on the internet. So if you go to calrta.com and you go to login members page, you will find division resources on the left menu, and then easy how-to tools, and then to the CTC toolkit, and then there's a button for the division website. So right now, that's the process to get there, and it is awesome. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to take you guys live to, well, there's a dashboard, but I wanted to go first to our, or I want to go to our webpage. Okay, so a couple things here to point out to you. So this is my Division 33 webpage here, and want to show you, hopefully you all can see this. Okay, give me a thumbs up. Can you all see this okay?
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
perfect. Okay, I just want to make sure. Okay, so the view mores, when you click on those, notice that it takes you to so much more detail. So if you haven't hit that view more button on, all the ones that where it shows up, all in this middle section, like the leaders, right now on our page, only 3 of our division leaders names and positions show up. But if you go to view more, what we have done is we've added photos, and so this is a way you can customize. Okay, a lot of the division websites. Okay, could you guys? I need you to mute your mics if you would. I unmuted you, but could you go ahead and mute your mics? That would be great. Thank you. So here's a way that you can customize your website or your leaders page. A lot of them are just black and white, and they have the name and their position. So, you know, you could, what I did was I just created a document. I added pictures. I put some text in. I put the CalRTA logo. And so when people click on that see more button, then they can see this. You can do whatever you want. You can make it as fancy or non-fancy as you want. The join us, if you click view more, it's just going to take you to that form that you have to fill out. If you look at the legislative advocacy, remember this is a partially kind of editable page. Remember those bullets are all the ones that are added by CalRTA, and then up here at the top, we added those in. So make sure that you check out those view more buttons, make sure that you're customizing those as you like, and then double check those every now and then to make sure that you don't have stuff sitting there that you're not using anymore. You can go back and edit it. Okay, so now I want to take you to the dashboard. Okay. So yeah, so we went in and we saw this today. So obviously the well-laid plans of mice and men often go awry, as Robert Burns once said. So Marilyn, you want to address this?
Yeah, when I went in this morning and saw this, I almost fell over. I thought, oh, not today. But Ron had told us a couple of weeks ago that the whole CalRTA website, which means all the areas and divisions too, are going to everything's going to get moved from one server to another. Now, I have an image of what that means, but it probably is far more complex than what I can imagine. But anyway, he's just giving us notice. It's not being moved yet, and he will update this to give specific dates. So if you want to play around and add stuff and delete stuff and whatever you want, go ahead and do so, but keep checking. This is going to show up every time you go into the dashboard. And if he says what those exact dates are, make sure you don't even mess with this thing during the time that everything's being transferred.
Okay. Also, we mentioned that playground site, the Division 101. So to get to that, see up here is the URL to our Division 33 site. To get to the 101, all you have to do is go up here, and I'm going to change 33 to 101 and press enter. Oh, heck. Oh, I know what I have to do. There we go. You do have to log in. Well, it's going to look the same as the other, but this, Marilyn, you want to address the playground site again?
Yeah, this is just a place where if you want to try anything out ahead of time and you don't want to take a chance of messing up, although I don't think you really can, your own division website. This is a place to play around with things. You can add media, you can add PDFs, you can add JPEGs, although you can't do much with them. You can add URLs, you can add events, you can upload, when you upload PDFs, you can try adding it to newsletter. You can practice everything here before, to gain confidence before you go ahead and add or change or delete anything on your own website.
So stuff is added in, but we periodically go in and delete stuff. So, but you cannot break it. You can't break it. But this is a great way to go in and play around. So that's div.101 or Division 101 CalRTA. So that's where you want to go to the playground. And our last thing, I want to go back to a regular division web page. And remember, I pointed out earlier that this resource button is your best friend on your division web page. This is that big blue button that we were talking about here that's going to take you to this. Okay, Marilyn mentioned this. She talked about this a lot. Now let me show you something real quick here, like on newsletters. Here's what the detailed looks like. So this is all the information about how to post a newsletter. Notice that all the images are here, lots of detail with the instructions, very long, comprehensive. That's the detailed for newsletters. You click on the concise, very short, one page, only text, no images. And then of course, I'm not going to play the video, but you could click on the video, and it's a video tutorial on how to add a newsletter. And it just covers this information, but in a video format. So this is your go-to site. I don't know what else to call it, because that's pretty important place to go to. So, Jim?
Sue?
Yeah.
Just a comment, a little plug here. Irene mentioned something about the new online toolbox. Almost everybody viewing this webinar should have received this morning a copy of the October CTC Update newsletter. First item on that is the online toolbox, and there is a link to it. All you have to do is click on that, and you're good to go.
Okay, so in the newsletter, and
That's it. There it is.
Is it right here?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
You have to log in.
Oh, yeah.
You have to log in.
I knew that. And then,
How to.
yep, we changed this. So
Yeah.
it's all, oh, okay. And then the toolbox is right here. Ta-da. It's pretty cool. All these fun little buttons down here on the side. It takes you to, like, if you want to click on newsletters, takes you to some other links that you can access with resources. So check this out. There's all sorts of good stuff here. So that's the toolbox. So again, you're going to log in, and this is your members page. Go to this easy how-to tools, communication and technology. So click on that, then click on the big box. Okay, it says the online toolkit, and that'll get you there. Thanks, Jim. Okay, any questions? I know this has been a lot. Yes, Sylvia. Oops, I'm not hearing Sylvia. I think are you muted? I don't see her muted.
Sylvia had a hard time getting in. I
Oh.
don't know what the issue was.
So Sylvia, maybe if you, I don't know if you've typed anything in the chat bar, maybe you could do that to ask your question. Got some other chats. Mary, you want to unmute yourself? Mary Dixon? You're still muted there. Do I need to unmute everybody? Oh, there we go.
This is off subject a little bit, and I wrote it in the chat. You do such a wonderful job of sharing your screen. You're very fast at it. I would love an updated version, sort of an advanced version of Zoom in a webinar sometime. So. Okay.
You know what I was thinking of too is how to share your screen, putting together a how-to sheet before we have a webinar, a how-to sheet on how to share your screen. But
yeah.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I've had to practice.
Yeah, because I know how to share it, but I don't necessarily know how to share it quickly and how to get to a website and have that ready to share. And I mean, I'm just watching you today, and you do a fantastic job. So that would be wonderful.
Okay, yeah, I'll work on that for you guys and see what I can come up with. But yeah, it does take I go on Zoom and I just practice on my own all the time. I just practice. I just open a meeting. I'm a one-person meeting, and I just click and click and share and open stuff. So I hope you guys are doing that too, because I swear that's the best way to learn.
And that's what I've done, but I'm still slow at it. So I'm
Okay.
trying to figure out how you get to it so quickly.
Well, you know, and before that, Mary, I know if any of you want like a one-on-one tutorial, we can Zoom together and I can kind of talk you through the process too.
Okay.
So just send me off an email and I'd be more than happy to work with you. So any other questions? Sherry?
Yeah, just looking at it, has it changed from, I mean, we uploaded our newsletter and stuff in September, and what you went through today looks different. Not drastically different, but different. So has it, or maybe it's because everything was on the right when we did it. And
Oh.
You know, I don't know. It looked different, not drastically different, but different.
So you're talking about when you went into
Does
the
anybody else have that?
to the dashboard, you mean?
When you go in the dashboard, yeah.
I haven't noticed any difference.
Especially like when you're going to do the newsletter and then you know, uncategorize and put newsletter, and then there was a little box over in the left that's where we would put the location, and then it would pop up because it's the same one all the time. It was on the left, and we didn't have to.
I have a theory about that, and I think some of it has to do with the size of your computer screen, where things are located.
Okay.
I have a huge screen. I have a really big screen. So, but if I'm on my laptop that has a smaller screen, sometimes things are moved from maybe the lower right-hand corner. They might show up towards the bottom on the left. So that might be part of it too, Sherry. I don't know. It might be. That would be my guess, because I noticed when I was working on the recurring events, okay, when I opened up one time on a smaller device, the recurring events box that you start filling in the information, it was like on the right-hand side, and I wanted it over on the left. And so I came onto my large computer, and on the bigger screen, it was already over or something. So it moved.
Okay.
So I think it
Nothing has been physically changed. I mean,
yeah.
Other than maybe how we're viewing it because of our computer size or whatever.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions? Oh, you guys have been awesome. Oh, wait.
Comment.
Michelle,
I want to thank you for mentioning that I could do a one-person Zoom meeting just to practice. That might be a no-brainer for you, but that was a whole revelation for me. Thank you.
You know that I know that I'm an Area 9, support person, but I'm also a state person. So I'm here to help whoever needs help. Okay. Pat has called me before. She's gotten, Pat, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I was just going to say that it helped me that you said, like, even if we've organized a Zoom meeting, you can go on and open that meeting even like a day or two, before the meeting is supposed to start, and play around with it on any meeting that you have scheduled. And you don't even have to set it up as another meeting. And so I found that to be helpful, because I just went on all the different meetings that have already scheduled, and then I don't have to set up a new one. And nobody else that is going to be in the meeting knows that I played with it 2 days ago.
No, and what you could do too is you don't have to even open up a meeting that you have already scheduled for Zoom. You go in, you log into Zoom, and you open up your page. And in the upper right-hand corner, it says host meeting. Go to host meeting, and there's a little drop down, and it says with video on. Just click on that. It opens up a meeting right then and there, and you can play. Okay, so you don't even have to click the link of a meeting that you've already scheduled. Go on to Zoom, go on your main account page, go up to the right-hand side, click host meeting, host a meeting, and click, what did I say? Video on, because you want your video showing. And just play. Click on buttons, play, do whatever you want. So, and if you have more than one device, open up a meeting on one, go over to your iPad, log in, you know what I mean? Join that meeting. As long as you have a meeting ID, I've done that with like 4 devices. I've had my husband's cell phone, my cell phone, my iPad, my laptop, and just because I was having to play around with how to do a breakout room. Well, you can't do a breakout room with one person. So I had to get all these devices logged in, and all of a sudden I went, oh, that's what it looks like. Okay. So yeah, just play. Pat?
Yeah, one of the best things that you suggested to me was like what you're saying now. I had a meeting yesterday. I had it on my desktop computer, but I also had logged in as an attendee on my laptop. And that way I could, of course I muted myself on the laptop because you don't want both sounds things, but I could see what the attendees were seeing,
Yes.
as well as what was on my screen.
Yes.
Other than the fact that then my laptop ran out of power, but it was still, that was a wonderful suggestion.
Good.
To be able to monitor what they're seeing and what I'm seeing.
Yep, that's how
one
I
of
do
my
it.
biggest problems is that when I'm playing around, I play around and I finally get to what I want, and I forgot what
How you
I
got
did
there.
to get there.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, that's why you have that notepad next to you and you write down all those steps. You go, okay, step I clicked on here, and then step I did this. So, okay, folks, we've done 25 minutes over our time, which is totally fine, but thank you for hanging around with us, and thank you for attending today's webinar. Truly appreciate it. I'm gonna stop sharing just so I can see all your faces and stuff. So thank you, come again, okay? See y'all.
Okay.